I am now the most miserable man living. Whether I shall ever be better, I cannot tell. I awfully forebode I shall not. To remain as I am is impossible. I must die or be better, it appears to me.
In the anguish of these words, one of America's greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln, describes his lifelong battle with depression. Throughout history, many famous and extraordinary people have felt the pain and suffering of depressive disorders. Some of them have shared their struggles publicly to bring awareness to this issue that millions of ordinary people also experience. In fact, over 30 million Americans may be affected by major depressive disorder. The annual cost to the economy is billions of dollars. The cost in human suffering is immeasurable.
Going through it was like a roller coaster ride through hell.
I felt that there was no way out. The pain was beyond description.
The doctor said to me, "Michelle, I think you need a psychiatrist. This is getting worse." And I remember reacting, "I don't need a psychiatrist. I'm not crazy."
Community life, family, friends, and workplaces all feel the impact of this debilitating illness.
I went to work depressed and was able to get through the day, but when I came home, I got on the couch, curled up in a fetal position with a blanket, and I slept.
I felt the burden of the responsibility of our children. I was the primary caregiver because John just couldn't function.
I was also confused as to what I should do as a person, as a relative of a depressed person. Like, what was the best thing to do?
And depression doesn't discriminate.
They come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different religious affiliations, different educational backgrounds. Depression is so ubiquitous that it really can be anyone. It could be myself, it could be you, it could be the neighbor next door.
Depression is often misunderstood and consequently misdiagnosed. Fortunately, in recent years, a clearer picture of the emotional and the physical symptoms of depression has emerged. Depression is a painful illness, and the pain is real. The good news is there is hope for all those who suffer and for the loved ones who accompany them on their journey through the darkness.
Yeah, long story.
John and Michelle started dating as teenagers and have been happily married for 14 years. Michelle describes John as a happy-go-lucky guy who doesn't sweat the small stuff. A few years ago, however, John started feeling sick and his personality began to change right before Michelle's eyes.
Physically, I was a wreck. There were days I couldn't get out of bed. I just laid in bed all morning shaking. I wouldn't even call in to work. I would get headaches. I felt nauseous. I was just in a total fog.
There was an episode at work where he started complaining that he wasn't feeling well, and they had to take him to the hospital. He didn't know if he was getting chest pains, chest discomfort. He felt weak.
Heart disease runs in my family. So one of my main concerns was there something wrong in my heart? I just thought I was going to have a heart attack.
And don't forget about, we're going out with everybody on Friday.
Yeah.
It was so different from his normal being. When the kids wanted to play with him, he would not be interested. He would tell them, "Not now, I'm not in the mood."
You know, I lost interest in everything. I mean, I didn't want to do the things I love to do. I love to ride my bike by the shore. It just ended. I just wouldn't ride my bike. My fish tanks turned green. I'd go weeks without even touching them. I'd go days without even feeding them. I wouldn't even go near the tanks.
I told him, "Let's go to the doctor. Let's see what's going on."
I really didn't want to. You know, being a headstrong, macho kind of a thing. I did.
Okay, can you open your mouth for me?
Like many people, John reported only his physical symptoms when he saw his family doctor for a series of appointments. In fact, a World Health Organization study found that 69% of patients with depression reported physical symptoms as the sole reason for their visit to their primary care doctor.
He gave me all the tests that a doctor could give you. Stress tests, Holter monitors, all kinds of blood workup. Everything came back normal.
Everything is normal.
Even stress tests?
Stress test is perfectly fine.
Really?
Once we've done the appropriate workup and diagnostic testing to rule out any other illnesses, I usually then ask some other questions which might be helpful.
John's doctor went through a series of questions with him that are known as a depression screener. This tool helps physicians evaluate whether or not a person might be experiencing depression.
Have you noticed that you've been feeling like you are blue enough where you're crying or want to cry for no good reason?
Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of mental health care is being delivered in the primary care setting. So it's very important for patients when they seek care in primary care, particularly if they're feeling depressed or they think they might be feeling depressed, to bring it up to their primary care doctor. Often the primary care doctor has questions or questionnaires even that they can give to the patient that can help them spell out the symptoms further.
The other thing I'd like to do is to refer you for some counseling, which I think would be beneficial for you.
Okay.
When you're stressed the way you've been with work and other things, sometimes it's a good idea to talk it out. Also, there are therapists that can teach you relaxation techniques and things of that nature that just help you deal with the everyday stresses that you're going to feel at work and at home. It's encouraging that family doctors are becoming more involved in the treatment of depression. At one time, depression was treated essentially by psychiatrists, of which there are far too few. Now, with the new research and with the education that's available both to physicians and patients, I'm very optimistic that this trend is going to go forward and that both family physicians and patients will be much better served in the future when they come in and do suffer from a depressive illness.
When a person is depressed, it's important to be diagnosed and treated as soon as possible.
Good luck.